One sec. Jump to slide 2 real quick here. So welcome again. Thank you so much. As Ashley mentioned, I'm Garrett Ziem. I'm the regional sales director for the Midwest for Emerald and our sister company, Scenic. But today we're going to focus on Emerald. So real quick, high overview. We have luxury starships. We have 9 of them in our fleet, and we have 8 of them in Europe, 1 on the Mekong. So start off, we want to talk about how we cruise with confidence with you, and starting with that is, how we partner with all of the main like CLIA, which is the cruise association for American international as well, and the government health agencies to ensure protocols that exceed the latest regulatory requirements. Health and safety is a massive importance to us. I'm actually going to just do that so that I'm not staring into your screens, and you can focus more on my presentation. And then we'd like to just brag a little bit. We've won some great Cruise Critic awards, all from Cruise Critic as well from the travel trade, and we're very, very proud of them. So this is also just a quick map of where we sail in Europe. This, from Amsterdam all the way down to Bucharest, as well as in Portugal on the Danube, and the south of France on the Rhone. So when you sail with us, it's an exceptional Emerald value, is what we like to say, because all of this is included. Inspiring excursions, experienced cruise directors, local guides. With all your meals, you're getting beer and wine included at lunch and dinner, and they're prepared expertly by our culinary team. We have a la carte dinner in our reflections. You have cafe-style breakfasts and lunch that can also be enjoyed outside on our terrace. We also provide these unique Emerald Plus experiences. They're authentic adventures that take you into the culture part of each destination with our Emerald Plus programs. Again, complimentary wine and beer at dinner, lunch and dinner. We have complimentary tea and coffee available throughout our days. And then on board, our activity managers can secure your place on one of the many Emerald active experiences that we will go over in the itineraries, as well as offer some sightseeing suggestions off of the beaten path that you can just do on your own with maybe one of our bikes or e-bikes that we have available for our guests. And then, of course, you have or we do activities and port talks in our Horizon Bar with our esteemed staff, and all your travel is taken care of. All your tips are included as well. And now let's talk a little bit about the hardware, the ship itself. These are our contemporary, stylish, bright floor-to-ceiling windows for fabulous river views. One thing that makes us different is the emphasis on innovation, and you're going to see that as we talk about this through our presentation. During the day, you have the Horizon Bar and Lounge. This is the perfect place to recharge your batteries, relax, or maybe read a book or play some games. We have here that coffee machine that makes the most amazing cappuccinos, lattes. We have hot teas, hot chocolate, and that's available any time of the day. It's on the house. And then in the evenings in our Horizon Bars, where you come back for a cocktail or a beer, share stories of the day. And then each night there is sport talk here, as I mentioned, by our cruise director. And then one of the innovations that I love to share is this is game changing, is our pool. This is an indoor pool, retractable roof. These are on our ships on the Rhine, Main, Danube, and in France on the Rhone. So both of these itineraries we're talking about will have this incredible pool that has three walls of just glass. It's on the aft of the ship. And then at night, it turns into a cinema. So we will have this available for our guests to come in and watch a film. We have classics, new releases, even a concert sometimes at night in our transformative pool into theater room. It's a great alternative too for anyone who's not wanting to go into the Horizon Lounge. We have this great space for you to come in and relax, grab some popcorn, grab a drink, watch a movie, concert. It's great. And then service on board is like a 5-star hotel. Many of the crew have been with us start to finish. We actually In 2025, we're finalizing our numbers, but 2024 season, we had 97% return ratio for our crew, which is amazing. Cuisine, you're gonna be sipping and eating local regional items, and every night is a different menu. But you also can get your, if you're not so fancy, you want some simple salmon, chicken, or steak, our chef offers that as well. And of course, the desserts are one of the highlights of every meal. But if you have special dietary needs too, you let us know. Gluten-free, vegetarian options, dairy-free are all available. And our chef will work with you on your dietary restrictions during your cruise. And he'll do that daily if you'd like. And then our al fresco option. So when you want to get up early and you're one of the first, we'll have in our Horizon bar in the back, we'll have set up some light breakfast. You can take that out onto the terrace that is right off the Horizon bar, or come back in there in the evening and for maybe some of the views when you go through some of these impressive locks. It's a great spot to have a coffee or tea or a wine or a champagne and enjoy the cruise. So again, complimentary wine and beer and soft drinks at lunch and dinner. We do have drink packages that are available that actually can talk to you about, so you don't have to worry about any of that. We also bring local entertainment on board, so you'll find we'll have Oompa band, polka, you name it. We'll have local artists and performers join us on the ship for your regional culture. These activities, we'll also organize theme nights, trivia nights that are going to be available in your Horizon Lounge. And then your included guided tours. Every day, you're going to have an experience with a local guide that's going to be included that we will talk about when we get into the itineraries. There'll be also times where we offer these Discover Mores, and they are at an additional cost, and they are more of an elevated type of touring. They are smaller groups in general. And we'll talk about those Discover More options as we get through this presentation more. We also include these Emerald Plus experiences. These will be experiences where we'll bring you to homes of a family in Bratislava or a Slovakian home, and you can have treats and snacks and coffee and tea with them. And those are some examples of our Emerald Plus experiences. Those are your cultural experiences. And then Emerald Active, these programs, excursions that we use are e-bikes or maybe they're hikes. And then on board the ship, we'll organize stretching. We'll have yoga, Pilates, that will be organized by our team. We have a canoeing excursion on the Rhone that we'll talk about a little later too. It's real fun as you're sailing down to Avignon. So we do have these active programs, and these are all included as well. And then this is actually a shot of that canoeing picture of sailing down the Rhone, heading towards Avignon. And you're going in the direction with the current too. So there's not a lot of work when you're doing this canoe ride from heading into Avignon. So it's really like floating basically. We do have e-bikes on our ships. So these are complimentary. We use them with tour guides that we'll talk about for untraditional. Maybe you don't want to do your traditional city walk. You can do our e-bike tour with a guide. So for those who are a little adventurous, we have those options available. And then we have extended periods of biking where the ship will sail and you are going to take a 20-mile bike ride between two of the ports that we're going to stop in. It's a lot of fun. One of my favorites, and that's on the Danube, but we're not going to be going into that itinerary today. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Discover More. So we're on our trip. You're always going to have some Discover More options throughout your journeys, and these are at an additional cost. And these just give you, smaller experience, local experiences, culture, history. And one of the examples here is this medieval town and villages that we'll go over some of those that are available on both of these itineraries that we're promoting today. And then there are some cultural experiences where we bring you to a castle, palace, and we perform classical concert or ballet. And those are part of our Discover More cultural experiences. Again, additional that you can arrange prior, or you can also do that while you're on the ship. And then freedom to explore at your own pace. It really is cruising. If you've done it before on the rivers, it's just amazing. It's simple. It's easy. Everything is just planned for you. So if you don't want to maybe go on that morning walk through the town, you can go later in the afternoon on your own, because we pull into the city, towns, and villages right where you're walking distance. So you can make your own little experience through just going out on your own. On board of our ships, we do have fitness centers as well as a treatment room. So you can come back or before maybe you start your day, get a massage, maybe go for a run or work out before you start your day. Or when you come back, maybe you want to jump back in and after a long walk or a tour or a hike, you come back and get a spa treatment. And then we have our accommodations. I think we have some of the best accommodations and the rivers. They are very stylishly appointed, simple. Like, this is our lead-in Emerald stateroom. So this is on the Riviera deck. This is the lower deck on the ship. So you don't have a balcony on this ship. Then you go to up. Here's another shot of the Riviera. I'm sorry, the single. Oh, this is a single stateroom. I apologize. So then we actually do have single appointed rooms. So this is exclusively for singles. And then the majority of our ship is this Emerald Panorama Balcony Suite. This is going to be about 60 to 65% of the entire ship you're going to find are going to be a Panorama Balcony Suites. And these will be found on the Horizon deck, which is the middle deck, and the Vista deck, which is the middle deck is Vista, and the Horizon is the top deck. But if you're looking for a little more extra space, we do have these grand balconies. In addition to getting more space, you also here will enjoy a luxury breakfast in your room. We provide canopies served in your suite. You have an espresso machine in your room, and you get 2 items complimentary of laundry per day, which is really nice when you're on an 8-day. You can, or if you're extended 11 days on tours, you get to do some laundry on board, and that is included. And then if you really want to get spoiled, or spoil yourself, you'd go to our owner's 1-bedroom suite. This is 330 square feet. This is one of the largest suites that's on the rivers. So this is on our top deck, nearly twice the size of our regular staterooms. Massive outside balcony, which converts into a sunroom. And then we talk about the balcony too. That's also something that's innovative. That you see there is floor-to-ceiling glass, and that balcony is inside your room, so you don't lose any of the square footage of your room with our balconies. So the balcony is built into your room, and with the touch of a button, top half of that window drops into the bottom half, and there you have your all-weather indoor-outdoor balconies. And it's game-changing. It really is. Once you've tried it, you never want to try another one. And then life on board the rivers, right? So this is incredible. You get these amazing experiences going through some of the most impressive locks in the world. And some of these rivers, you'll go through up to 30 different locks in an 8-day journey. It is engineering feat at its best. It is incredible, and it's worth the show in the night, in the morning, however you're going. You definitely make sure you check out going through a lock. So let's go into some of the itinerary now. So the first one we're going to talk about is our 8-day tulips in Rhine. This is an April 5th departure, 2026. And why is the Rhine so popular? Rhine is considered the romantic, picturesque scenery. The romantic river because of its picturesque scenery along the upper middle Rhine Valley that includes steep vineyards, charming villages, numerous historic castles that you'll go by. Greatly inspired area that artists and poets and of the Romantic movement in the late 18th century, 19th centuries. It is just so beautiful, natural beauty at its finest, and the area is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. A trip along the river is like a voyage into a fairy tale land. It is incredible, the amount of, again, castles, up to possibly 60 castles that you will see as you're sailing down the Rhine or up the Rhine. So again, the cruise starts on April 5th. This is on our Emerald Luna. You would fly into Zurich, transfer to Basel, and begin your Rhine cruise. Your first evening, you will be overnighting in Basel, and you arrive the next morning. Your first stop in Breza. This is a tale of 2 cities divided by the Rhine. So you have the Breza in Germany and the New Breza in France. You'll enjoy a guided tour. Sorry, let me go back. On the Breza side of the Germany side, or you can do by motor coach. We will take you to both Breza on both sides of the river. So experience the French side and the German side on this second day when you arrive in Breza. And then you will be docked on day 3 in Kiel, Germany, where you'll hop on a motor coach to the medieval city of Strasbourg, France. Make sure you try their sauerkraut. They don't say sauerkraut in France, it's Chuperat. It's forgive my French. I am not proficient in French speaking, but you have to try their version of the sauerkraut when you get to Strasbourg, as well as the flambe, the tart flambe, which is the French version, or the flammkuche, which is the German side, and that's a specialty in that region. It is a bread dough rolled out very thin, shaped in rectangle or oval like a pizza, and then they cover it with fromage blanc or creme fraiche, onions, and lardons, bacon, and it's absolutely delicious. And then there's no trip like it to visit the Schwitzingen, Schwetzingen Palace and Gardens. Or we have the option when you get to this stop just to do a guided hike through the vineyard in Bad Dürkheim. So you get a couple different options here when you get to day 4 and you're in Ludwigshafen, where that's where you will port, and then we will take you to the Schwetzingen Palace and Gardens for an incredible tour of this magnificent UNESCO heritage castle. And then one of my favorite stops on the Rhine is Koblenz. This is a small little town. You typically wouldn't stop here. And I only stop here because it is on the Rhine. You are stopped right in the heart of it. So you walk right out into the town. Very small. There maybe is a few thousand people that live there yearly. It's famous for its vineyards, and then on top of the hill is this amazing ancient German fairy tale tower of the statues. So one of my favorite stops. It's so quaint and intimate. Definitely going to be a highlight of your tour when you get to Koblenz. You have the walking tour here, or we actually can take you as another option for our Discover More to the Moselle Valley and the Cochem Castle. Again, that's a Discover More, so that is an extra expense. And then the largest city on the Rhine awaits your arrival, Cologne. This is also the most visited city in Germany, Cologne. One of the reasons is that in the picture that you see there, that cathedral. This is when we get here, we will have a guided tour of Cologne's Old Town and a visit to the botanical gardens. And of course, there's no way you're not going to get into the cathedral as well. That's going to be one of your highlights of Cologne. And then we're coming to the end of our cruise, but one of the most anticipated stops is then Amsterdam. So we will be in Amsterdam. And when we get here, you'll have, of course, because this is April, we're going to bring you to the Keukenhof Gardens. And this will surely leave an impression. There'll be more than 800 varieties of spring flowering tulips, and regular flower shows and showcases in the spring are pretty standard. So you're going to have an incredible visit in the Keukenhof Gardens to see, of course, the most famous tulips in season as they are blooming. In addition to that, we also have nope, that's not it. We do have just the Keukenhof, which is what you are highly going to want to do and see. And then you will be overnighting in Amsterdam. So once you've done your tour, you come back, you have your dinner that evening. Hey, maybe take a stroll back into the town in Amsterdam. Maybe go on a canal cruise or just walk the streets of Amsterdam. Because the next day we will then be departing, or there will be, I believe there is going to be an extension that we will be working on for another day in Amsterdam. That is still to be worked out. And then on to our 11-day Sensations of Lyon and Provence with Nice. One of my favorite places to sail, the south of France. I mean, just the sound of that, just I think everyone jumps at, because it is one of the most popular rivers to sail on for its rich, stunning scenery, history, being very Roman. And you'll notice why as we get through some of this presentation. The cuisine, of course, the renowned wine that's in this region, the landscape, the Provence, the iconic medieval towns like Avignon. We have the Roman ruins in Arles, and then you're going to have plentiful of options to indulge in wine tasting while you're cruising through these lush regions and vineyards along these riverbanks. So what can you expect on this? You're going to have a 3-night, 4-day Nice extension on here. So day 1 through 4, you will spend in and around Nice. The extension includes daily breakfast, 1 city tour of Monaco and Monte Carlo, and we do offer a visit to the St. Paul des Vents for an extra expense. So that is a discover more option on the extension. So that is the land portion of this tour, where you will be in Nice for those 3 nights, 4 days. And then when we first start, we're going to board you in Nice. This is, I'm sorry, we will be transferring from Nice to Arles, where that evening, when you first night you get there, you're going to have one of the most exquisite culinary experiences. When you sail on the South of France with us, we bring on a top chef runner-up, and his name is right here. Sorry. What is his name? Fabien Morali. He is from the Top Chef French show. He brings on his entire team to cook for you on our ship. It is going to be one of your highlights. Obviously, this is going to be super regional cuisine, French cuisine, paired with French wines, super authentic, and a great way to start your cruise off. And then Arles is one of my favorite cities to visit. UNESCO World Heritage Site. Arles, it was very important to the Phoenician trading as a port, and by the Romans. The city was peppered with iconic monuments. The city will showcase some of these Roman sites, including the 2,000-year-old Arles amphitheater, which you see a shot here in this picture. It's amazing. It is similar to the one in Rome, but it actually is an active, working amphitheater. Colosseum. And then there's also the amphitheater. But the Colosseum in Arles is just absolutely amazing. You will go step inside it. It is a working Colosseum. So they do performances in there. They do what they call the running of the bulls. There are 2 forms of them. So they actually just, not only in Spain do they do the running of the bulls, they actually do them in Arles as well. It's very interesting. There are 2 types of them. So for those, obviously there's opinions about the bulls, but there are options where they do not harm the bull when they do the running of the bulls here in Arles. And then you are off to the incredible Avignon. This is where one of the 2 popes lived. So when there were 2 popes in the Catholic Church, Avignon has the Pope Palace. It's absolutely amazing, and it's a funny story that you'll learn when you get there, that both popes, one in Rome, one in Avignon, the entire time that they both existed together as popes for the Catholic Church, they just were excommunicating each other both. So they really probably didn't get much done, except for just fighting each other, who had more power and who was in charge of the Catholic Church during that time. So real great stop here because of the history of this fortified city. And this is where you'll have that option, as I mentioned, to canoe down the Rhone into Avignon. Definitely recommended for those a little more adventurous. We do have a Discover More option here as well, where we bring you to the Pont du Gard. But that we also have your included free choice, which will bring you into the town of Avignon for a full city tour. And then after Avignon, you go to Chalon, Saône. So you actually change rivers from the Rhone, and you are now on the Saône. Very tiny river. It's really these amazing, quaint little towns like Beaune, which will be a short little ride from Chalon-sur-Saône, which is also a great little town that you'll get to visit. After you come back from Beaune, you'll have some time to do both the Chalon-sur-Saône and Beaune. And Beaune is well worth the trip up. It's about an hour ride from your port there. This is an incredible ancient city. lots of wine history. This picture here is the Hospice of Des Beaunes, one of the fine examples of French 15th century architecture. This was a former hospital. Now it is a fascinating museum. So you'll step inside here and learn about that and the architecture of those tiles that are just unbelievable when you get to see them up close. And then you'll sail back down the Saône and you will conclude your river cruise in Lyon. Lyon is at the confluence of the Rhone and Saône, so this is where they meet. It's steeped in history. It is, sorry, I'm going to, what's going on? It is steeped in history. It's considered to be the gastronomic heartbeat of France, home of the traditional Lyonese cuisine. Today, we will enjoy a guided tour of Lyon. This is also another UNESCO World Heritage, where the Basilica of Notre Dame, as you see here in this picture, you will also explore the secret laneways and cobbled streets of this gastronomic old town. And this is where you'll finish your cruise. So that evening, you will overnight again. So once you finished your dinner on board the ship, maybe step back out into town and check out the local chocolates, or just wander the streets and maybe search out for some wine tastings that's available. Let's see. So I am going to now open this up for any questions that anyone may have.
Now we will get the pricing out to everyone, hopefully today. If not, it'll be Monday in an email with both flyers and reservation forms for both tours. And of course, that'll have the pricing. But any questions not regarding pricing? All right. You might have to unmute yourself if there is anyone with a question.
How many guests does the ship hold? You may have mentioned it, but in particular, the Amsterdam tour.
The Amsterdam is a larger ship, so that's one of our bigger ones. It's 180.
Oh.
It's very, if you haven't river cruised before, it is very intimate. It's a really nice experience. It is far different from ocean cruising. I know some people have asked people, or have had people that haven't river cruised before that said, well, what about, won't we get seasick? No. River cruising is very gentle, everyone. It is very, very relaxing. And you don't feel like you're lost. It's amazing. The staff remember you from each day. They'll remember you. They might even remember your likes or your dislikes. It's really neat.
That's exactly why they're so popular. The river cruising, the simplicity, the ease, this luxury floating hotel that just takes you from port to port to port. And most of these ports that you don't typically would visit when you do a land, because that's why, because they're on the river, so they're harder to get to. They're quaint, they're intimate. And when we port, you are in the heart of those little quaint little towns where you can step off at your own pleasure, leisure, and go visit and do your own tour. Or of course, obviously every day there's something that's included for you to do. From the city tours, those Emerald Plus experiences, or if you'd like to maybe do something additional, those Discover More, as I mentioned, that are for an additional cost, but they are smaller groups too. So typically when you do a tour with us too, every day, we will set up multiple, depending where we are, multiple tour guides will be organized for the entire ship. So you don't have to sign up for them either. We plan for the entire ship to take the included tours. So then you get off the ship, you then join a group, and then you're off onto your tour. On the tour will have options for what we call gentle walkers, so that maybe just a slower pace and a condensed version of a full city tour for those who maybe are not looking for that's maybe a tougher walk, or maybe it has a little mobility challenges. So we provide that gentle walker option.
Any other questions? That was a great question about the size of the ship.
How is tipping handled?
Great question. So on all of our ships, gratuities are included. You do not have to worry about them. So your transfer driver, all of our crew on this ship, your tour guides, all of those gratuities are included. And if you look at some of our competition on what you have to prepay or what you do pay when you're on the ship, that's about a $600 value.
Great question. Any others?
I would
Sue,
just
think
like
you're
to,
muted, Sue.
I'm sorry, I would like to second everything you said about these cruises. In 2023, I took my first European Rhine River cruise with Emerald. It was a Emerald Dawn ship, and it was wonderful. I've been on several ocean cruises before, but having the smaller group, you got to know people, interact with them. It was great going on the side tours because they divided, like you said, the groups were 20 or 25, and we had these wonderful earphones, and we have the guide would have a channel that we would connect with, so we could easily hear what our guide was sharing with the group, and you didn't hear what the other guides were talking about, even if they were 30 feet from you. So it was great, and the host and hostesses, the waiters, you got familiar with them, and you're right, they knew what kind of wine you wanted or what your favorite meal was, and everybody was just so helpful. So I loved it. I'm going on the Danube River cruise this year.
That's great. Yes, that's so true. All of that is so true.
Thank you,
And
Great
Loretta, for that
comments.
I also
testimonial.
was on it a couple years ago with Loretta, and actually it was a trip of a lifetime, and encourage anyone to take this tour.
Hi, Roxy.
Hi.
Thank you, Roxy.
I have a question for the 8 days tour. Does that include the air flying down there? So we're actually
Yes.
like 6 days on the Rhine, or how does that work?
No, you would fly in the day before that you arrived. So you would be 8 days in Europe on the cruise.
Okay, and then fly home. So it's more like a 10-day, 9-day trip.
Mhm.
Okay, 10-day trip.
And
Typically, yeah,
both of
people will
these
come in.
will have the pricing, including flights. I will add when we get that flyer out to you guys. Hopefully, like I said today, you'll see the flight is included in the pricing.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
Ashley, will it also include an overnight in Switzerland and some time there?
No, not on this one. We're doing it a little bit different.
Okay.
We are going to do an overnight in Amsterdam instead, because we're going to offer just a Switzerland trip also in 2026.
Okay. And so could they add that extension if they chose to fly on their own?
Is that an option as well? I believe it is. I believe there is, and we can get that pricing if someone was interested in extending on the front end as well. Good question, Roxy. Any others? All right. Well, look for the email with the flyers and the reservation forms. I will probably include this video as well if anyone wanted to rewatch. And thank you, Garrett, for joining us today.
Thank you, Ashley. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Hope to see you on an Emerald cruise.
Yes, and we hope that you will join us. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.